Bitcoin has a way of messing with your head. One day, it's dead. The next day, it's unstoppable. And if you held long enough, eventually you look at your screen and realize something uncomfortable. This isn't a trade anymore. This is life-changing money. That's when the fear shifts. Not fear of losing it, fear of selling it. Because the moment you turn Bitcoin into dollars, the IRS gets involved. And a lot of people learn that lesson the hard way. You buy early, you survive the crashes, you finally sell a chunk at the top, and then your accountant tells you the part no one celebrates on Twitter. Congrats, you might owe hundreds of thousands in taxes. Meanwhile, you watch wealthy investors move massive amounts of Bitcoin seemingly untouched by the same pain. They're not panicking, they're not rushing to cash out, and their tax bill looks suspiciously calm. So, what's going on? To understand that, you need to start with a rule that quietly governs everything in Bitcoin. For tax purposes, Bitcoin is not currency. It doesn't matter that people call it digital money. It doesn't matter that you can buy things with it. The IRS treats Bitcoin as property. That means selling it for dollars is taxable. Trading it for another crypto is taxable. Using it to buy something is taxable. Every time Bitcoin changes hands in a way that realizes a gain, the clock stops and the tax meter starts running. If you held it less than a year, that gain is taxed as ordinary income, the highest rates you'll ever pay. Hold it longer than a year and you get long-term capital gains rates, which are lower but still painful at scale. And if you think you can quietly slip under the radar, that era is ending. New reporting rules mean brokers are increasingly required to report digital asset transactions directly to the IRS. The gap between what you report and what they know is shrinking fast. So, wealthy Bitcoin holders don't ask how to hide. They ask a better question. If selling creates a tax problem, how do I live my life without selling? This is where Bitcoin becomes different from every other asset, because Bitcoin doesn't need to be sold to be useful. The first strategy is deceptively simple. They borrow. Instead of selling Bitcoin and triggering capital gains, wealthy holders use it as collateral. They pledge Bitcoin to access liquidity through loans or lines of credit. From the IRS's perspective, nothing happened. No sale, no realized gain, no taxable income. You still own the Bitcoin. Now, this isn't free money. Interest exists, risk exists. If Bitcoin crashes hard enough, forced liquidation can happen at the worst possible moment. But when done conservatively, borrowing allows people to access cash while keeping their Bitcoin exposure intact. That's why you'll often see wealthy Bitcoin holders talk less about taking profits and more about accessing liquidity.
The second strategy plays on Bitcoin's long-term nature: time. Bitcoin rewards patience more than almost any asset in history, and the tax code quietly reinforces that. The difference between selling at month 11 versus month 13 can be the difference between ordinary income tax and long-term capital gains. For large positions, that difference isn't cosmetic. It can be 6 figures, sometimes 7. Wealthy investors are acutely aware of this. They don't sell impulsively. They plan around holding periods, months, or even years in advance. If Bitcoin is up massively, but the long-term clock hasn't finished ticking, they wait. Volatility doesn't scare them. Taxes do. Then there's a strategy most people never associate with Bitcoin: giving it away. If someone is already charitably inclined, selling appreciated Bitcoin first is often the worst possible move. Selling creates tax, then donating the remainder creates a deduction, but the damage is already done. Instead, wealthy donors often contribute appreciated Bitcoin directly to qualified charities or donor-advised funds. When that happens, the gain is typically never realized. The donor may receive a deduction based on fair market value, and the charity sells the Bitcoin tax-free. From the outside, it looks like a disappearing act. In reality, it's just sequencing. Another strategy sits quietly in the background, waiting for the very end: holding until death. When Bitcoin, like other appreciated assets, passes to heirs, the cost basis is generally stepped up to market value at death. Years of gains vanish for capital gains purposes. No sale ever occurs. No tax bill is triggered on the appreciation. This is why Bitcoin is increasingly treated as generational capital among wealthy families, not something to flip, something to pass forward. But the most sophisticated Bitcoin tax planning happens long before the bull run ever starts. While most people are scrambling to figure out taxes once their portfolio is already up tenfold, wealthy investors ask themselves a question years earlier. If this explodes, what will I wish I had done first? And the answers are almost always structural. They're intentional about where Bitcoin lives. Some exposure sits in taxable accounts, some is placed in tax-advantaged structures where growth is deferred or potentially tax-free. They harvest losses deliberately when the market crashes. Weak positions aren't just ignored, they're sold to generate deductions that can offset future gains. And because crypto is currently treated as property, not a security, the traditional wash sale rules that apply to stocks don't clearly apply the same way. That ambiguity creates flexibility, though it requires careful professional guidance. They also obsess over records, every transfer, every cost basis, every wallet movement. Not because they're paranoid, because audits don't care about vibes. And then there's the nuclear option, changing where they're taxed. Some wealthy Bitcoin holders choose to relocate from high-tax states to places with no state income tax before realizing large gains. That decision alone can save hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, on a single Bitcoin. It's not a trick, it's a life decision, and it requires real commitment. So what does all of this mean for someone watching Bitcoin surge and wondering what to do? It means Bitcoin itself isn't the problem. The problem is reacting emotionally instead of strategically. Owning Bitcoin isn't taxable. Holding Bitcoin isn't taxable. Selling Bitcoin to a loss isn't taxable. Taxes appear only when gains are realized. And the wealthy build their entire approach around controlling when or whether that moment happens. So when people say the rich sell Bitcoin without paying taxes, what they're really describing is this. The rich don't treat Bitcoin like a payday, they treat it like an engine. And engines don't work if you shut them off the moment they get powerful.